Listen to me right now. People come into your life, they say they're here to stay, but when things get tough, when the stakes get high, they leave, and it hurts, right? But here's the truth you need to understand today. If you keep waiting for people to stick around, you'll miss the one thing that truly matters, you. By the end of this, your mindset will never be the same again. You will own your future. You will stop waiting for validation and start demanding your success. Let's go. You've been there. We all have. There's a certain level of comfort in leaning on others, isn't there? It feels good to have someone by your side telling you everything will be okay, reassuring you when the world feels like it's falling apart. But here's the hard truth. This comfort can be a trap. And here's what I want you to understand. You cannot afford to depend on anyone else to validate your existence. Not a partner, not a friend, not even family. The moment you give your power to someone else, you risk losing control over your own life. Think about it. In our society, we're conditioned to find security in others. From the moment we're born, we're told we need to fit in, seek approval, and find our place in the world through connections with others. But let me ask you, what happens when these connections fall apart? What happens when that person you relied on leaves? What happens when the person you thought would always be there isn't anymore? The pain, the confusion, the emptiness, it's all real. But what if I told you that your real power lies not in what you get from others, but in what you build from within yourself? Let me share a story with you. I want you to think about the incredible life of Steve Jobs. Many of us know his story, the highs, the lows, the revolutionary successes with Apple. But do you know the part of his story where he lost it all? After being ousted from Apple, the company he built with his own hands, Jobs was devastated. He lost the very thing he had devoted his life to. He was at rock bottom with nothing but his own thoughts, his own ideas, and his own drive to keep him moving forward. But here's the critical moment. Instead of depending on others to fix things, he went within. Jobs didn't wait for approval, for a handout, or for anyone to tell him that he was worthy. He reinvented himself, and in that reinvention, he came back stronger, leading Apple to become the iconic company we know today. Why did he succeed when so many others fail? Because he understood something that most of us miss. Your power is within you. When you rely on others, you're not only giving up control of your destiny, but you're also opening the door for resentment, disappointment, and frustration. People change, they leave, they disappoint. It's human nature. But your ability to bounce back, to rise from the ashes, doesn't depend on anyone else's actions. It depends on you. And when you stop waiting for someone else to pick you up, that's when you'll realize the true magnitude of your own potential. Psychologically, the need for validation is a survival instinct. We are social creatures. We want to belong. We want to be loved. But when you rely too heavily on others for this validation, you become fragile. You begin to define yourself based on their opinions. And here's where the danger lies. When those opinions change, so does your sense of self-worth. You lose your anchor and you're left adrift. Think about the countless people who chase approval their entire lives, whether it's in the workplace, in relationships, or in their social circles. They change who they are. They twist themselves into pretzels, all to make others happy, all to earn a sense of value from others. But in doing so, they lose themselves. You can't be everything to everyone, and when you try, you end up being nothing to yourself. So here's the shift I want you to make today. Stop waiting for permission. Stop seeking validation. Start being the person who defines your own worth. You've been given everything you need to succeed within yourself. Your talents, your drive, your resilience, they are all there waiting for you to unleash them. You don't need anyone else's approval to make it happen. I'll leave you with this. The moment you stop depending on others for your happiness, for your success, for your worth, you start to take full control of your life. And that's when everything begins to change. You become unstoppable. You are no longer subject to the whims of others. You are free. And that freedom is the foundation of your future success. So stop waiting. The time to act is now. How much do you really know about yourself? I'm not talking about what your friends think of you or what society tells you who you should be. I'm talking about the deep, untapped potential within you, the part of you that knows no limits. The part of you that only comes alive when you stop listening to everyone else and start listening to yourself. You see, we spend our entire lives collecting information from the outside world, what's popular, what's acceptable, what's expected. But when do you take the time to step back and ask, who am I really? Think about someone like Oprah Winfrey, one of the most powerful and influential women in the world today. Do you think Oprah was always this confident, this driven, this successful? Absolutely not. Oprah's life has been one of trials, heartache, and doubt. She wasn't always celebrated. She was once told she wasn't good enough for television. She was told she was too emotional, too opinionated, too different to be a leader. But Oprah did something incredibly powerful that most people overlook. She went on a journey of self-discovery. She took the time to explore who she really was beyond the limitations others tried to place on her. And through that process, she unlocked her true potential, which has allowed her to impact millions of lives around the globe. Here's the key. Self-discovery is not just about finding out who you are, it's about discovering who you can become. When you begin this journey, you stop living in reaction to the world. You stop living according to others' expectations, and you start living according to your own truth. And when you live from that place, there is nothing more powerful. You become unstoppable. Let's be real for a second. Most of us are afraid to truly know ourselves. Why? Because the truth can be uncomfortable. We're afraid of what we might uncover, our flaws, our insecurities, our weaknesses. But guess what? That's part of the beauty of the journey. The flaws you see today are just stepping stones to the strength you will find tomorrow. And when you embrace that truth, something incredible happens. You stop feeling lost. You stop needing to search for answers everywhere else. You become your own greatest resource. Think of Thomas Edison, a man who failed over 1,000 times before he successfully invented the light bulb. He could have easily given up after his first, second, or 100th failure. But what did he do? He discovered the power of resilience within himself. He didn't wait for someone to tell him it was possible. He didn't let others dictate his worth. He became his own source of motivation, and in doing so, changed the world. Self-discovery doesn't just happen overnight, it's a process. You have to be willing to face your fears, your doubts, and your limitations head on. You have to ask yourself tough questions. What am I afraid of? What do I truly want? What am I capable of? These questions are uncomfortable, yes, but they're the gateway to understanding the full scope of your power. When you start seeking answers within yourself, you start making decisions that align with who you truly are, not who you think you should be. Remember, every time you make the choice to dig deeper into your soul, you build a stronger foundation for your future. When you embrace self-discovery, you start living with purpose, with conviction, with confidence. You stop second-guessing yourself and start walking forward with unwavering belief in who you are. So ask yourself today, are you ready to discover the real you? Because once you do, nothing will ever be the same. You'll stop looking for validation in the wrong places. You'll stop living for the approval of others. You'll start living for you. And in doing so, you will unlock the most powerful force within you, the power to shape your own destiny. Don't wait for anyone else to define your worth. The power to change your life is already inside of you, waiting to be discovered. I want you to think about something for a moment. How often do you find yourself replaying the past in your mind? The mistakes, the failures, the moments that hurt. How many times have you let that old narrative control your present? That story you tell yourself, the one where you failed, the one where they left you, the one where things didn't go the way you hoped. How much of that story are you still living today? Here's the harsh truth. Your past is not meant to be a place you live, it's a place you learn from. But so many people get stuck there, trapped by their past mistakes, their past relationships, or their past identity. And when you get stuck in that past, you're not living in the present. You're a prisoner of it. You're letting the events of yesterday determine the possibilities of tomorrow. And that's where the magic of your life gets stolen. Let me tell you a story about Michael Jordan, the greatest basketball player of all time. We all know his successes, the 6 NBA championships, the MVP awards, the legendary moments on the court. But what many don't realize is that Jordan's path to greatness was paved with failure. He was cut from his high school basketball team. He faced rejection. He struggled to find his footing in the league early on. But here's the key. Jordan didn't let those failures define him. He didn't hold on to them. He used them. He learned from them. When people told him he wasn't good enough, instead of accepting that as his truth, he made it his fuel. He turned every failure into a lesson and every rejection into motivation. That's why he's not just a champion, he's an icon. Now, think about yourself. How many times have you let a failure, a setback, or a heartbreak hold you back? How many times have you allowed the scars of the past to dictate how you show up in the world today? The pain is real, and I'm not here to tell you to ignore it. It's okay to feel the weight of what you've gone through, but don't let it define you. You are not your past. You are the person who chooses what to do with it. Psychologically, the reason we tend to dwell on the past is because of the fear of repeating it. We get caught in a loop of overthinking, of trying to protect ourselves from being hurt again. But here's the truth. By dwelling on the past, you're preventing yourself from moving forward. You're giving all your power to something that's already happened instead of using the lessons from it to fuel your next step forward. Take Walt Disney, for example. He was told no so many times. He was fired from a newspaper job for lacking imagination. He went bankrupt before he created Disney World. His past was full of rejections, but he didn't let that stop him. He kept pushing forward. He understood that the past only has the power you give it. He used his experiences to propel him to greatness, and his legacy has impacted billions of people around the world. You don't have to carry that weight forever. The people who succeed, the ones who overcome the deepest obstacles, are the ones who look at their past with clear eyes and say, I am not that person anymore. They take the lesson and they leave the pain behind. They turn the narrative into something empowering. They transform the pain into purpose. Your past is a chapter in your story. It doesn't define the ending. You have the pen. You have the power to write the next chapter however you choose. If you let go of the need to live in the past, if you stop identifying with the pain, the shame, or the regrets, you'll find an incredible freedom. Freedom to be who you're meant to be. Freedom to act without the constant weight of what went wrong. Here's what I need you to do. Let it go. The mistakes, the failures, the hurts, they've all played their part. They've all taught you something. But now it's time to free yourself from them. Learn from the past, but don't carry it with you anymore. You're not that person anymore. You're the person who's ready to move forward. The next chapter starts now. So what are you going to do with the rest of your story? The answer is in your hands. Let me ask you something. How much control do you really think you have over your life? Do you believe that circumstances, situations, or other people dictate your future? Or do you understand that your mindset is the one thing you can control, and it's the key to everything? I want you to realize something today. Your mindset is the most powerful tool you have. It's the thing that shapes your reality, the lens through which you view the world, and ultimately it determines the outcomes you experience in your life. But here's the thing, not everyone understands this. Too many people live on autopilot, allowing their thoughts and beliefs to be shaped by external forces. They let their environment, the opinions of others, or their past failures control their present. And that's exactly why they don't see the results they want. Think about Muhammad Ali, one of the greatest athletes to ever live. His journey wasn't just about raw physical talent. It was about his mindset. Ali had an unshakable belief in himself, even when others doubted him. When he was younger, he was told he would never be a champion. He was told he wasn't strong enough, fast enough, or skilled enough. But Ali didn't listen to those voices. Instead, he formed his own. He built a mindset that said, I am the greatest. I am unstoppable. I am destined for greatness. He believed in himself so fiercely that it became reality. His mindset didn't just guide him, it created his success. And I want you to understand that this isn't something only a few exceptional people have access to. This is your birthright. Your mind is the most powerful force you have, but most people don't know how to tap into it. You have the ability to program your thoughts, to decide what you believe, and to dictate how you respond to every situation that comes your way. But it all starts with one thing, awareness. If you're not aware of the thoughts you're having, how can you ever change them? Your thoughts are like the software running in the background of your mind. If you let them run unchecked, they'll be like viruses feeding you limiting beliefs and self-doubt. But when you take control and choose what to think, your mindset becomes your superpower. Here's a story that highlights this. Think about J.K. Rowling, the author of the Harry Potter series. Before her success, she faced rejection after rejection. She was a single mother living on welfare. She was told her book wouldn't sell. She was told it wasn't good enough. But Rowling didn't let those thoughts take over. She chose to believe in her story, in her talent, and in her dream. And today she's one of the wealthiest and most successful authors in the world. She understood that failure is just a stepping stone to success, but if she had let the fear of rejection or the judgment of others control her, we wouldn't have the magic of Harry Potter today. Your mindset has the power to turn obstacles into opportunities, challenges into growth, and setbacks into comebacks. But here's the hard truth. You cannot change the outside world until you first change the world inside your head. You can't wait for the conditions to be perfect. You can't wait for the right people to show up. You can't wait for life to get easier. You have to master your mindset right now, with whatever you have in front of you. Because when you do, you'll realize that you are the one in control of your life and nothing can stop you. Think about this. Every time you face an obstacle, you have two choices. You can either let that obstacle define you, or you can define how you respond to it. The choice is yours. This is the power of mindset. This is what separates those who succeed from those who stay stuck. Now, I want you to ask yourself, what am I telling myself right now? What are the beliefs that are shaping my actions? Are they empowering me or holding me back? Your future is created by the thoughts you think today. So, master your mindset. Program your mind for success. Choose your beliefs, your actions, and your words with intention. And watch as the world around you starts to reflect the power you've awakened within yourself. Real strength, true unshakable strength, does not come from the outside. It doesn't come from the praise of others, the approval of society, or the validation of your achievements. No, real strength is forged from within. It is born from the depths of your soul, from the fire that burns inside of you, and from the will to stand tall, even when everything around you seems to be crumbling. This is the strength that builds empires. This is the strength that allows people to rise again no matter how many times they've been knocked down. And this is the strength that you right now are capable of unlocking within yourself. Let me tell you about Nelson Mandela. This man spent 27 years of his life imprisoned in a small cell, living under conditions that would break the spirit of most. He was cut off from his family, from his people, and from the world. Yet despite this unimaginable suffering, Mandela's strength never faltered. Why? Because he understood one fundamental truth. True strength doesn't come from circumstances. It doesn't come from what others do to you. It comes from what you decide to do with what you have inside. Mandela didn't wait for his oppressors to show him mercy. He didn't rely on the world to give him a reason to keep fighting. He found strength in his beliefs, in his purpose, and in his unshakable conviction that he could make a difference. And when he was finally freed, he became one of the most powerful voices for peace and change in history. I want you to understand this. You are not defined by the things that happen to you. You are defined by how you choose to respond. Everyone faces adversity. Everyone, but it's how you choose to navigate that adversity that determines your true strength. Do you let the storm break you, or do you use it to fuel your growth? When life throws its worst at you, do you crumble, or do you dig deep and find a resilience you never knew you had? That is the strength I'm talking about. Think about Malala Yousafzai, the young woman who stood up for education in a place where girls were not allowed to go to school. She was shot by the Taliban for speaking out. But instead of succumbing to fear, instead of letting that act of violence silence her, Malala found her voice more powerfully than ever. She turned her pain into purpose. She turned her struggle into strength. And now, at such a young age, she's become a global symbol of courage, showing millions of people the power of inner strength. She teaches us that no matter the obstacle, no matter how impossible the fight seems, the strength to rise above it is always within us. You see, strength doesn't always look like what we expect it to. It's not always about being physically strong or loud or dominant. Sometimes real strength is quiet. It's the quiet decision to get out of bed every day when you feel like giving up. It's the quiet determination to keep going when no one else believes in you. It's the quiet resolve to rise above the negativity and find peace in your heart. Real strength is having the courage to show up, to keep going, and to believe in your own power, even when the world is telling you otherwise. This is why I want you to stop looking outside of yourself for strength. You don't need anyone else's permission to be strong. You don't need someone else to tell you that you can overcome. You already have everything you need. Inside of you, there's a well of strength that is limitless if you tap into it. You just have to stop doubting it. Stop thinking you're not capable. Stop waiting for someone to give you the green light. You have to make the decision right now that you're going to believe in yourself. You're going to trust that you have the inner power to face anything life throws at you. So I want you to look inside today. Dig deep. Ask yourself, what strength have I been overlooking? What is it within me that I've been neglecting? It's there. I promise you, it's there. And once you recognize it, once you unlock it, you'll never be the same, because once you tap into your inner strength, there is no limit to what you can achieve. There's a truth that most people overlook. Your energy is your most valuable currency. It's the one thing that you have absolute control over, and it's the one thing that can either elevate you to incredible heights or drag you down into despair. Think about it. We spend so much time focusing on what we have, our money, our possessions, our relationships. Yet we rarely stop to think about the one thing that truly dictates the quality of our lives: how we direct and protect our energy. I want you to think of your energy as the fuel that powers your journey. Just like any high-performance machine, if you don't put the right fuel in, you're not going to perform at your best. Yet so many people let their energy leak out in ways they don't even realize. They waste it on negativity, on toxic relationships, on environments that drain them, on things that don't serve their greater purpose. And then they wonder why they're tired, frustrated, or stuck in the same place. The truth is simple. If you waste your energy, you're wasting your potential. Take Elon Musk, for example. Whether you agree with his methods or not, one thing is clear: his energy is directed with laser focus. Musk is constantly moving forward, working on projects that could change the course of humanity. But that's not because he has endless resources. It's because he has learned to master his energy. He channels it into his vision and filters out anything that doesn't align with his purpose. He doesn't waste energy on distractions. He doesn't engage in negativity. And that focus, that dedication, that disciplined energy is what has allowed him to achieve what others thought was impossible. Now let's talk about the other side of the coin. Have you ever been around someone who just drains you? You feel exhausted after even a short conversation with them, like they've taken something from you. Maybe it's a coworker who constantly complains, or a friend who always brings negative energy into your life. The more you give your time and energy to these people or situations, the more you're siphoning off your own life force. It's like giving away money that you don't have to spare. If you're constantly investing your energy in the wrong places, you're going to run out of it, and then you'll have nothing left to build the life you want. The reality is energy is contagious. You have the ability to influence others with your energy. When you walk into a room, your energy precedes you. Are you the person who lifts others up, who inspires and motivates, or are you the one who drains the room, who adds to the stress and negativity? Think about the people who inspire you. Are they the ones who are constantly complaining about their circumstances, or are they the ones who bring positivity and solutions? The answer is clear. The people who succeed in life are the ones who know how to protect and direct their energy toward what matters most. Psychologically, energy and emotion are deeply connected. When you feel drained, it's often because your emotions are out of alignment with your goals. You're spending mental and emotional energy on things that are not in harmony with your purpose. Your body and mind are telling you something. You need to realign. When you focus on the things that truly matter to you, your mission, your growth, your vision for the future, your energy shifts. You become more energized, more motivated, and more focused. You feel alive. But this requires awareness. It requires you to ask yourself, where am I spending my energy? Is it being used in a way that aligns with my purpose and goals, or is it being wasted on things that are out of my control? I want you to stop and really think about where your energy is going. Is it lifting you up, or is it draining you? Are you giving your time to things that nourish you, or are you giving it to things that leave you empty? Start becoming more intentional with how you spend your energy, because it's the only resource that's truly yours to control. Protect it, invest it wisely, and watch as your life begins to shift in ways you never imagined. Remember this: energy is your most valuable asset. Spend it wisely, and you will create a life that is limitless. Don't let anyone or anything drain it away. Direct it toward what lights you up, toward what pushes you toward your purpose, and toward what will take you to the next level of your life. Your energy is currency. How you choose to spend it will determine the wealth you create in your life. In a world that's constantly connected, constantly buzzing with distractions, and constantly filled with noise, there's one thing that most people are terrified of: being alone. We're told that solitude is something to fear, that we need others to validate us, to complete us, to make us feel whole. But here's the reality that I need you to understand today. Solitude is not your enemy. In fact, it's one of the greatest gifts you can give yourself, one of the most powerful tools you can use to create the life you want. Let's be honest for a moment. How much time do you spend on your phone, scrolling through social media? How often do you surround yourself with noise, with people, with distractions? We do it because we're afraid of silence. We're afraid of what it means when we're alone with our thoughts. But I want to challenge you. The magic of life lies in those moments of solitude. It's in the quiet where you'll find clarity. It's in the stillness where you'll hear the whispers of your soul. It's in being alone that you can truly discover who you are. Look at someone like Steve Jobs, for instance. Here was a man who changed the entire world with his vision. Jobs spent significant time alone, reflecting on his life, his purpose, and his vision for the future. People often think of him as the man behind the products, the man who revolutionized technology, but behind that success was a man who understood the importance of retreating into solitude to sharpen his mind and gain insight. He didn't rely on constant external validation. Instead, he used solitude to tap into his inner creativity, his intuition, and his deepest desires. Jobs knew that the answers he needed weren't going to come from the noise around him. They were going to come from within. Solitude, however, isn't just about physical isolation. It's about creating space for yourself to think, to feel, to grow. It's about giving yourself the time and the mental clarity to reflect on your life and your direction without the constant interference of others' opinions or distractions. When you spend time alone, you are forced to confront yourself, your weaknesses, your fears, and your potential. And while that might be uncomfortable at first, it's in that discomfort where real growth happens. Take Malala Yousafzai as an example. After surviving a brutal attack by the Taliban, she spent time alone, reflecting on her purpose and her mission. She could have let fear consume her, but instead, she used her solitude to find her voice and decide her next move. That time alone allowed her to listen to her heart, to understand what she stood for, and to create a mission that has changed the world. It wasn't the noise of the world that led her to action. It was the quiet space where she could hear her own truth. Psychologically speaking, solitude is vital for emotional health. It allows you to process your thoughts and experiences in a way that social interactions cannot. The truth is, when you're constantly surrounded by others, it's easy to get lost in their expectations, their opinions, and their judgments. But when you step away, when you embrace solitude, you regain control, you reconnect with yourself. You can assess where you are in life and where you want to go without being clouded by external pressures. Now, I want you to think about this. What would happen if you intentionally made time for solitude every day? What if you carved out a few moments to be alone with your thoughts, to simply reflect on your day, your goals, and your vision for the future? What if, instead of running from silence, you ran toward it? When you get comfortable with solitude, you stop depending on others to fill the void. You stop seeking validation from external sources. You stop looking for answers in places that don't serve you. Solitude teaches you to be self-reliant, to trust your intuition, and to find peace within yourself. And once you master that, you become unstoppable. You are no longer dependent on the world to give you direction. You are the one who creates your own path. Solitude is not a punishment, it's a gift. It's the space where you connect with your true self. It's where clarity, strength, and wisdom are born. So stop fearing it, embrace it, and let it be the foundation upon which you build the most powerful version of yourself. We live in a world obsessed with approval. From the moment we're born, we're taught to seek validation from others, whether it's our parents, our teachers, our peers, or society at large. The messages are clear. If you do this, you'll be accepted. If you act this way, you'll be liked. If you succeed in this, you'll be enough. But here's the harsh truth that most people are afraid to confront. Chasing approval is a prison, and you are the one locking yourself inside. Think about it. How much of your energy do you spend trying to get others to approve of your choices, your lifestyle, your decisions? How often do you find yourself second-guessing what you want simply because you're worried about what other people might think? Here's the problem. The more you seek approval, the more you give up your personal power. You become a prisoner to other people's expectations, constantly trying to meet a standard that is not even your own. Let me share a story with you about Brené Brown, a renowned researcher and storyteller who specializes in vulnerability, courage, and shame. She wasn't always as comfortable with her authentic self. For years, she chased the approval of others, believing that if she could just fit in, if she could just be perfect, she would be enough. But then something life-changing happened. She did the work. She confronted her fear of judgment, of not being good enough. And in that process, she realized that the moment she stopped needing others' approval, she became truly free. She became a force of nature, a voice that has touched millions of lives worldwide. And that's the kind of freedom you can experience too, the moment you stop waiting for permission to live your truth. You see, the need for approval is rooted in fear of rejection, fear of being judged, fear of being unworthy. This fear can hold you back from pursuing your dreams, from living the life you know deep down you are capable of. But here's the thing, fear is not your friend. It's the enemy of growth, the barrier that keeps you from stepping into your greatness. The moment you let go of the need for approval, you are taking back control of your life. Let's talk about Oprah Winfrey. Before she became the powerhouse we all know today, Oprah faced enormous criticism and rejection. She was told she wasn't suited for television, that she was too emotional, too different. But instead of folding under that pressure, Oprah leaned into her truth. She refused to let others define her. And today she's one of the most successful and influential women on the planet. Oprah didn't need anyone's approval to be herself. She didn't wait for permission to speak her truth. She chose to own her story, and by doing that, she built an empire. Now, I want you to ask yourself this. What would your life look like if you stopped waiting for approval? What if you stopped letting others' opinions dictate your decisions? What if you made your choices based on what you truly want, not what others think you should do? Imagine how much power you would reclaim. Imagine how much more confident, focused, and fulfilled you would feel. You'd be unstoppable because you'd no longer be tethered to the opinions of those who don't understand your vision. Psychologically, the need for approval stems from a deep-rooted desire for belonging. We are social creatures, and it's natural to want to be accepted. But when you allow that need to govern your decisions, you compromise your authenticity. You become a version of yourself that is not true to who you are, and that is the ultimate form of self-betrayal. When you start living for yourself, not for others, that's when you unlock your full potential. Let go of the need for approval. Stop asking for permission to be great. You don't need to please everyone around you. You don't need to fit into a mold that was never designed for you. When you embrace your true self, you will naturally attract the right people, the right opportunities, and the success you've been seeking. Your power is in your authenticity. Let go of the chains of approval and watch how your life transforms. You are enough just as you